Hi everyone, this is my second vlog. I'm still not comfortable around cameras, but I'm trying hard to get better. The first video I made was a charcoal drawing of Baba Yaga. Here's a link to it. This time I chose to make a fan art poster of an amazing video game, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, that I've always been amazed by its incredible backgrounds. Let's go! In this drawing, I'll be using watercolor, acrylic paint, Nankin, watercolor paper, watercolor brushes, and a bamboo calligraphy pen. Before I start drawing in the watercolor paper sheet, I made several sketches with different compositions in order to find one that better suits the project. I keep my sketchbook close by while I'm drawing to guide me in this journey. I start by sketching lightly with a pencil on the watercolor paper. At about 1/3 of the page, I start to draw the title. Then I draw the characters Ori and Ku. For this project, I wanted to blend different backgrounds of Ori's world on the same drawing, using several references. Some stone steps, some plants, and the spirit tree. Once I'm finished with the sketch, I start applying watercolor mask. Try using an old brush because the brush will get damaged by the latex. That's what liquid mask is after all. I'm not used to watercoloring using liquid mask, so this is kinda new to me, but this really helps out your workflow. Well, it's time to leave it to dry. Drying time! I never know where to start coloring. But first, let's grab a bucket of water. We'll need a lot. Using a thick watercolor brush, I start filling the background with a layer of blue, then let it dry for a bit. Drying time again! Because of the pandemic, I still can't go out and shop for materials, so I improvise with what I have at home. I ended up using acrylic paint as replacement for some areas, instead of making a fully watercolor drawing. This isn't the first time I use acrylic paint as a replacement for watercolor, and you can get great results if used in the same way as you use your watercolors, with lots of water. For each layer of paint I let it dry until I get a deep blue sky. Then I add the magenta and reds to the drawing. I'm not being careful with the outlines because they will be overlaid with Nankin. Now that I look at it, the background is fairly finished. So I start removing the liquid mask on one side of the tree. Then I try to create a gradient in it that will merge the upper leaves with a deep blue sky. While I'm letting this area dry, I go back to the background and add more saturation to the colors of the sunset. After using so much water, it's time for the sun to come to the rescue. Drying time yet again. Once the drawing is all dried up, I start removing the rest of the liquid mask on the leaves so I can draw this side like I drew the other. Now it's time to work on the lower side of the drawing, in which I will add some reflected sunset light and create a gradient that goes from a deep blue all the way to purple. As for the plants, I paint them purple as well. Time for character details. I start by drawing Ku's characteristic eye, since it defines Ku. It's very important that I test the colors on another sheet before I draw it on the project. I just can't get it wrong. I'm done with watercolor. So, I'm removing all the liquid mask except for the title. With a bamboo calligraphy pen, I start making outlines. I redraw some lines so I can get the same look in all the drawing, starting with a thin line that gets thicker and then thin again. On the leaves, I'm trying to create a 3D look using the white of the paper as light and black of the ink as shadow. Since the start of the drawing, I've been very indecisive if I should outline Ori or not, but I ended up leaving him brighter due to his white guardian spirit nature, with no barriers to his light, making him stand out in the drawing as a main character. I hope this was a helpful video. Leave a comment below. If you like it, don't forget to subscribe for a new video every Monday. Thanks for watching. See you next time.